opportunity is going to be very unique one. It's going to be very, very real because we're actually going to present real cases. But how does a grand jury work? I have been a grand jury foreman. I was probably one of the first practicing criminal defense attorneys to serve as a grand jury foreman when I was appointed by Judge Janet Burnside in 2005. A grand jury foreman serves along with the grand jurors on his or her panel for 4 months. I happened to serve a January to April term, and at that time there were 3 grand juries: a Monday, Wednesday, a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Wednesday, Friday. And there were 2 grand juries operating during each of those time frames. And what a grand jury consists of, and why it's called a grand jury as opposed to the other types of jurors, is a grand jury is more people. A petty jury, or juries that decide guilt or innocence, is 12 people. So grand jury is 15 people who are selected from the voter rolls. The grand jury foreman, however, and Mr. Marshall and Reverend McMickle and Reverend Matthews and other names that you heard, are selected by judges. And it's a great honor to serve the community as a grand jury foreman. You have no greater and no less responsibility or authority other than you have the title and you convene your group. But the grand jury foreman is an individual who's selected by the judges, whereas the grand jurors are selected at random from the voter rolls. Now, what does a grand jury do? Well, let's talk about what it cannot do. It does not determine guilt or innocence. It does not determine guilt or innocence. It only hears a small amount of information presented by a prosecutor and a police officer or a liaison from the police department who presents facts to that body of 15 people, at the conclusion of which 9 of those people will vote on the facts that they have heard. And it takes 7 of them to agree in order for an indictment to come down. The other 5 then become our alternates. So out of the 15 people, 9 will vote. It takes 7 of those votes to indict an individual. Now, just because a person is indicted does not mean that they are guilty. It is a form of information so the person knows what charges they're going to face. Now, a grand jury can do a couple of things. They'll receive a report from the police department, and they either can accept and charge as the facts are presented. They can add to the facts by adding additional charges, or they can reduce or indict on fewer charges, and they can also indict, dismiss, ignore the felony, and charge an individual with a misdemeanor, if that's what they decide to do. Or they can reject everything and produce what is called a no bill. Now, how many of you have served as jurors in any capacity?